Hello, I'm Simon Black, one of the founders of Lexical Labs, and here with my fellow founders, about to explain to you some of the key features, use cases, and exciting roadmap of our software called Tiro. Now, Tiro is a contract intelligence technology that assists the review and negotiation of contracts before signing and provides a range of contract analytics solutions throughout the life cycle. And its main use cases are firstly right at the start as an automated intake, pre-screening and triage tool. Secondly, as a contract review and negotiation assistant, almost like a co-pilot up to signing. And lastly, as I mentioned, a range of analytics solutions, both pre and post signing. Tiro also integrates with large language models such as GPT, and they work incredibly powerfully alongside our existing technology. And we'll be illustrating some of the impact that LLMs are having on our current technology and roadmap going forward. I'd now like to summarize four key standout features of Tiro. First is that it works incredibly powerfully on third-party paper that it hasn't seen before, and particularly in the mid to high complexity spectrum. And a good example of this is the software is able to work out the names, definitions, and roles of the parties, which is obviously so crucial in understanding where responsibilities lie. Secondly, it provides a customized experience that speaks the language of the user and their practice group or enterprise. And a good example of this is we've recently deployed to a major global consultancy with 500 lawyers involved in contract review and a further 1,500 contract managers. And the software is delivering review and negotiation assistance that really speaks their language. Thirdly, we offer flexibility and interoperability. So we're not a standalone platform. You can use Tiro in your chosen platform, including all of the Microsoft suite and also integrations to document management systems and other platforms. Finally, we offer you and our clients the training and the tools to build and adapt the solution to your needs. So essentially, we hand you the keys. So now let's look at some of the key features of Tiro. It exists both as a web application, which I'm showing here, and as a word plugin, which we'll show a bit later. After the upload, the first thing that the system will prompt the user to do is confirm whether it is correctly analyzed the names, definitions, and roles of the parties. And once that's done, users are presented with a digital checklist. And this is essentially all of the key questions that a lawyer would be asking when reviewing an inbound contract. In this case, it's a SaaS contract. And so, for example, in the liability section, the software is answering what caps on liabilities exist, who do they benefit, are there more than one, and are there exceptions? And all of this is then neatly summarized in the playbook panel, distilling quite a complex analysis, but also presenting all of the relevant clauses and allowing the lawyer to filter the relevant clause so that the lawyer is satisfied that the software has analyzed the issue correctly. So by way of another example, it goes down a checklist looking at the intellectual property indemnity, what it covers, what type of claims are covered, and so on. So the checklist is both dynamic and very flexible to set up and presents all of the relevant information to allow the lawyer to analyze the risk under the contract. So switching now to the Microsoft Word add-in, below the overview box, there are guidance boxes or potential to have links to know-how sites. So the idea is the lawyer, with the help of the software and the relevant clauses presented here, is able to, it has all the tools to respond on the contract. And then if they want to mark up the contract, there are two types of clause libraries. First is called My Clauses, and this combines For each issue or watch point, all of the standard wording or fallback wording or common ease drafting relevant to that point in one place, and the lawyer is able to lift and drag and drop into the text and make the necessary amendments. Now, we appreciate that a lot of the sculpting around the redlining is still left to the lawyer, and we'll be introducing more automation into the markup process during the course of next year, and we'll illustrate that later on in the video. Now, the second clause library is an automated precedent search, and that will search for clauses with the same outcomes in an area of the project that will, the area of the client's portal that will have all their templates or reliable precedent documents. So you'll see here there's retention of IPR clauses all presented, and they can be filtered and are used appropriately. So also there's a number of ways in which the software will present all of the data that it's found and either visualize that or report on it in different ways. So I'm just launching here an internal risk report, which is fully automated, but also fully editable, where all of the software's output across all of the watch points is presented here, along with the clause references, or indeed, if you wanted, the clause wording and the risk status. And this can be presented in a different form. So, for example, if you wanted to create a discussion form or list of requested changes, list of issues, the same data can be presented in that way. So this data can be presented in different ways. So here we're actually showing a comparison between where a contract starts in the negotiation and where it ends. So if we particularly look at the general indemnities, there are a number of unacceptable indemnities at the start, as summarized here, and then during the course of the negotiation, they were negotiated out to an acceptable position. So you can present this type of information either for your benefit or your client's benefit through a negotiation. So I'm showing here how some of the data can be presented across a portfolio of contracts. In this case, we're presenting all of the risk issues across a playbook, across a number of contracts in an interactive dashboard. And then users can also go into the dashboard and get more summary data and risk information and access to the clauses directly without having to open the contract. The other thing that we can do is actually ask questions of an executed contract. So here I'm asking a question of a number of contracts, and then the system is giving me a summary in a table format, in this case, relating to caps on liability and exception for data protection. Likewise, a question relating to force majeure, and the answers all summarized. So there are a number of ways in which we can bring the data together in various use cases. So in this next segment, we're going to discuss our roadmap for the next 12 months, and indeed our vision beyond that. And I think in 3 key areas. One, how we're making our checklists much more dynamic, easier to set up, and with the ability to handle a much broader range of contracts that you would expect in a law firm. Secondly, to make the process of redlining more automated while still leaving the lawyer in control. And thirdly, giving the lawyer options about how they wish to interact with the system. So this next segment illustrates how our checklists are becoming much more flexible, dynamic, and easier to set up. So we're illustrating this in a checklist recently developed for a private M&A SPA. And similarly, as for the SaaS checklist, the software is being prompted to answer a number of key questions and present the answers along with the relevant clauses. So in the context of limitation and liability on the seller, all of the relevant information is summarized, and also whether the limitations apply to just warranty claims or all claims. Now, this approach combines the best of our existing technology, both classification, parsing, but also our playbook technology, but is enhanced by the power of a large language models. And one of the additional features that that provides is the ability for the lawyer then to follow up with free text queries. So in this case, the software has found that an advance payment is payable and generally forfeitable, but there are two exceptions to that. And then the lawyer has asked for a summary of those two clauses, and indeed has down here asked whether the seller can, in some cases, unilaterally waive conditions precedent. So this process and flexibility is very powerful and much quicker to set up, and we'll be able to train your system, your lawyers and legal engineers in the setup of these checklists. Now, the idea then is that quite complex documents can be distilled into a number of issues that can be discussed in a report or a collaboration space, with the client, and then decisions can be made on how to respond to those issues, either by markup or by issues list. So one final area on our roadmap, and indeed our wider vision, is that contracting should become data-informed contracting, and that's not only what's in the contract itself, but what the market is doing and what clients can expect in negotiations given certain context about them and the transaction. And so we do think, whilst this is a complex area, that if we started with a reasonably straightforward contract, such as a SaaS agreement, as we're showing here, all of these items on the checklist have market data on what's previously been negotiated. And we'd be really excited to work with you to access some of that data, which can be in a database or could actually be in executed contracts, and then see how we can get the system to predict certain outcomes in a negotiation.
Hi, I'm Liam Gilchrist, CEO of Lexical Labs. So you've just seen our current product at work. What I'd like to do now is give you a sneak peek at what we've got planned for 2024. We're at the forefront of technological innovation, but our focus remains firmly on practical, user-friendly solutions. Now, we're very aware that every legal team operates differently, with unique workflows and requirements. So our goal is to enhance these workflows with versatile and intuitive tools. The idea is to create a more flexible and responsive way for users to interact with their documents and efficiently access the information that they need. So first, I'm going to introduce you to our upcoming new automated contract markup tool. This prototype represents the next step in contract review technology. You can use it however you want, whether you want to be involved every step of the way, or let Tiro handle the heavy lifting and you just get involved at the end. We're also very excited to present a new chat interface that our team are actually already using internally. This feature might seem simple, but as you'll see, its real value lies in its capability. It's an intelligent system that connects directly to your database, offering quick and accurate assistance. At Lexical Labs, we're incredibly enthusiastic about the year ahead and the advancements we're bringing to our customers. So over the next few minutes, we hope to give you a glimpse into why we believe these developments are game-changing. Thank you.
We'd now like to show you what we are working on to automatically mark up a contract. This is a prototype of our latest developments. The scenario is that we are a legal advisor. Our client has sent us a SaaS agreement for review. Let's spin up Tiro in Microsoft Word. We could provide further context here, but let's go straight into the analysis. We didn't give Tiro any context, so this preliminary analysis is important. We get a brief overview of the contract and the parties. It has recognized one party as a client and has found suitable business rules to use. You can change any of this if necessary. Everything looks good, so let's proceed. We now get a high-level overview and risk assessment against our requirements. We could review how the contract performs against each business requirement, as you have seen earlier. But let's go straight into marking up the contract. Here is a list of the problems found. If we click See Fixes, we can see the recommended solutions. We could click Fix All and have Tiro do everything automatically, but let's look in detail at a few issues. Here, Tiro has identified an issue not actually in our business rules. While prescriptive rules are very useful, the flexibility to spot anything unusual is also important. Let's look at this one. We can see the problem and the recommended solution. Let's look at the relevant clauses. We can see the recommended drafting changes. You can see the proposed drafting is very specific, aiming to achieve our business goals while minimizing the red line. We could, of course, edit any of this manually in this box before applying it to the document. Clicking on the clause takes us to the text in the contract. We could add a comment too if we like, but let's not worry about that now. Let's add this proposal to the agreement. Once we're happy with how it looks, we can click Confirm. So now we've resolved that issue. Let's look at another one. We've covered the basics, so this time let's have a play with some more detailed features. Tiro has proposed two options for this issue. The preferred one is selected. Let's check out the second one. That's a good fallback option, but let's stick with the preferred option this time. Let's see the proposed drafting. It's a good start, but let's see what we can do with the chat feature. I'd be interested in comparing this clause to our standard clause. Let's see how Tiro goes with this. We'll type our question in free text and let Tiro respond. Here's Tiro's response. We could ask for more details, but let's just ask Tiro to redraft this clause to take into account all these points. Okay, let's see the results. Let's show proposed changes again. A good effort. Let's see those changes in the document. All looks good. So let's confirm that issue. So that's all we have time for, but hopefully that gave you a flavor of what is coming next.
Hi, I'm Alex Clayton, Head of Large Language Model Strategy at Lexical Labs. Large language models, or LLMs, mark a paradigm shift potentially as impactful as the invention of the steam engine or the transistor. We've never before had machines capable of apparent reason, creativity, and agency. For knowledge workers, this is already proving transformational. However, there's substantial work ahead. Channeling the raw capabilities of LLMs into the creation of real value requires thoughtful implementation and intuitive interfaces. I'd like to now briefly show you what we're referring to internally as our intelligence engine. It brings broad contextual awareness and direct access to essential tools into a flexible, chat-based interface designed to empower lawyers to work in whatever manner suits them best. The intelligence engine is under development and active use internally at Lexical Labs. We intend to roll out the complete product to customers during calendar 2024.
Recent advances in AI hold out the promise of unprecedented capabilities. However, in order to be truly useful, these capabilities must be properly situated within documentary and organizational context. The intelligence engine is our vision for how best to achieve that. Combining extensive context awareness with the flexibility of chat and Copilot interfaces, it empowers users to perform complex tasks by simply engaging in conversation. Here, we see that in addition to transaction and documentary context, the intelligence engine is capable of leveraging detailed organizational information. This enables tailored, consistent, high-quality results. Here, we see how the flexible chat interface empowers users to work in a manner that suits them. By directly leveraging essential tools such as knowledge and document stores, Microsoft Teams, Outlook and Word, advanced use cases, including automated redrafting, become possible. Multiple actions can also be executed with a single sentence, saving time and enabling users to focus on value-added deep work instead of lower-level tasks, such as preparing red lines or emailing documents. We're just getting started with the intelligence engine, but are excited about the possibilities. In time, we'll be adding additional capabilities, including advanced visualization tools, real-time contract analytics and monitoring, and even agency, the ability to take certain pre-approved actions on behalf of the user.
So that brings us to the end of our demo. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. We pour our heart and soul into this stuff, and we've really loved showing you what we've got and what we're building. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any one of us. Otherwise, we look forward to hearing from you. Bye for now.